The search into the disappearance of Massachusetts mom Ana Walshe entering its 10th day. Overnight, our ABC affiliate WCVB was there as police in hazmat suits combed through the trash at this trash transfer station. It comes just hours after Ana's husband Brian
bail is set at $500,000 cash.
went before a judge. It's also when prosecutors revealed a grisly discovery.
Crime scene services recovered and found blood in the basement area.
Brian Walsh was arrested over the weekend, charged with misleading the investigation. He's pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors say Brian's account of the day after Ana went missing simply doesn't add up.
Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime with Shannon, where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Okay, so we have a missing person that I'm going to cover today on the channel. I'm not sure if some of you have heard of her. Her name is Ana Walshe with an E. She has been missing technically since January 1st. But her husband, actually, and he didn't even report her. Actually, her work reported her missing around the 4th. So she's been missing since the New Year's Day. And man, there's a lot going on in this one. And sadly, I think the husband has something to do with it. That's my theory and my speculation. But I'm going to go over the case here. Boston.com has an excellent overview of pretty much everything going on. They got live updates. There's another couple websites and news outlets that are doing excellent coverage as well. But this one here is given, in my opinion, some of the best info that I'm seeing as I look through all the information today. So that's a picture of Ana Walshe, who has been missing. She has not been seen since New Year's Eve or day. And this was just updated today. So it's obviously all this information is recently updated and accurate as of now. It's 5:20 p.m. Eastern as I record this, and they updated this about 9 minutes ago. So it's pretty good. Let's see. The investigation into Ana Walshe's disappearance has rocked Cohasset and led to a sprawling investigation in both Massachusetts and Washington, D.C., where the mother of 3 regularly commuted. Her husband, Brian Walshe, was arrested on January 8th and charged with misleading a police investigation. When he appeared in court on January 9th, prosecutors said that the police found blood and a bloody, damaged knife in the basement of the Walshe family home. Now that's suspicious already. And like I said, there's a lot more going on. Ana Walshe was first reported missing on January 4th by co-workers. She had a flight scheduled to take her from Boston to Washington on January 3rd, but never boarded the plane. Early on in their investigation, police were told that she had to change her plans due to an emergency at work and had left early in the morning on January 1st to take a ride share to Logan Airport. Here's what to know so far. All right, so this is the basics right here. Ana Walshe was last seen early on January 1st at the family's Cohasset home and was reported missing 3 days later. And again, not by her husband. During a January 6th press conference, Cohasset Police Chief William Quigley said police were told Ana Walshe was supposed to take a ride share to Logan Airport and hop on a flight to Washington, D.C. on New Year's Day. She initially had a flight booked for January 3rd, but was going to leave early due to a work-related emergency. Ana Walshe never boarded any flight last week, and authorities found no indication she even stepped foot into a rideshare, Quigley said. Now, Brian Walshe, 47, who police initially said was cooperating with the investigation, was charged Sunday with misleading police as they probed into his wife's disappearance. On Monday, Brian Walshe pleaded not guilty to the charge in the Quincy District Court, where prosecutors said on January 2nd he purchased approximately $450 of cleaning products. Who does that? Are you supplying yourself for the next century or the next, I don't know, few years? Are you supplying your whole block, neighborhood? That's not normal, folks. In court, prosecutors also said investigators discovered blood and a bloody, damaged knife in the basement of the couple's home. Another red flag. That's not normal. This is supposedly a couple, married couple, and they have 3 young boys. Blood and a bloody damaged knife being discovered is not something you expect in the traditional family environment. Tracy Minor, Brian Walsh's attorney, said, however, her client has been, quote, incredibly cooperative, unquote, with police. Well, that is her opinion. In 2021, Brian Walshe pleaded guilty in Boston federal court to selling 2 fraudulent Andy Warhol paintings in 2016. Police said last week that case and the disappearance of Ana Walshe appear to be separate incidents. They are separate, but it kind of starts to show that he's not such a great guy. Investigators in search of the Walshes' Cohasset home on January 10th. The search and processing of the Walshe family home in Cohasset was completed Tuesday afternoon, a spokesperson for the Norfolk District Attorney's Office said just after 4 p.m. So that was just about an hour and a half ago, maybe not even that. Although police are no longer searching the property, Cohasset and Massachusetts State Police detectives continue to investigate the case. There were no changes to the charges in place yet. After initially searching the home for multiple days, police said on Saturday that, quote, the ground search will not resume unless police develop new information that so warrants it, unquote. Investigators, however, returned Sunday. So I guess they had some more information. Brian Walshe was arrested later that day. Investigators to test items found north of Boston as authorities continue processing at the Walshes' Cohasset home. Okay, and they have been searching at this Peabody transfer station, which we're about to get into right here, after investigators reportedly collected evidence at a trash facility. The Norfolk County District Attorney's Office said Tuesday morning that authorities recovered a, quote, number of items, unquote, during a search north of Boston. Not sure what that means just yet. The items are now, quote, subject to processing and testing to determine if they are of evidentiary value to this investigation, unquote, prosecutors said. Quote, no detail on those items will be disclosed at this time, unquote, the district attorney's office said in a statement. Cheryl Fidanza, WBZ's chief investigative reporter, reported Tuesday, however, sources told the news station police found trash bags with blood, a hatchet, a hacksaw, a rug, and used cleaning supplies at the transfer station. If that's tied to their home, it's not looking very good for Brian, does it? And that's Brian right there. That is the husband. And of course, that's Ana, who is still missing. The news came as investigators continue to process the Walshes' Cohasset home for potential evidence. Prosecutors said processing may conclude later Tuesday or sometime Wednesday. In court Monday, Assistant District Attorney Lynn Villan said investigators found blood and a bloody, damaged knife in the basement of the home. So that was today's updates. And as you can see, we're kind of going backwards because Boston.com puts their most current updates first. So we're kind of going backwards again. Investigators found evidence connected to the disappearance of Ana Walshe while combing through trash at a transfer station on Newberry Street in Peabody, CBS Boston reported. News footage taken by the station's cameras showed investigators in protective gear looking through the waste. Canine units were also observed. That's an awful job to have to do. You remember how, those of you that followed the Quinton Simon case, remember how we saw all those guys and probably women, those law enforcement crime scene folks out there at the landfill in their hazmat suits and all that, having to search through garbage? What a horrible, horrible place to have to search. Crime scenes are awful, but searching a landfill or a transfer station, oh, that's awful. And it looks like here's a little bit of a video from David Wade. So let's check it out. That is them searching this trash facility before I guess it gets to the landfill. Somewhere that I want to be, and I'm sure it doesn't smell great either. So definitely not somewhere you want to spend your day. Investigators searched trash facility January 9th. So this is still Monday, yesterday. Police searched a trash transfer station in Peabody in connection with Ana Walshe's disappearance, WCVB reported on the evening of January 9th. Several people could be seen digging through trash at Republic Services transfer station on Forest Street. The search also included a dumpster that was moved there from the Swampscott apartment complex where Brian Walsh's mother lives, according to WCVB. Yeah, another thing to search, great thing to search, is a dumpster. I know, I even hate taking out our kitchen trash. And then can you imagine having to search through a landfill or a dumpster or anybody else's trash? Oof, it's not a job I want to have at all. Brian Walsh's internet history. CNN reported on January 9th that investigators found searches in Brian Walsh's internet history for, okay, now wait, how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body, and for information on how to dismember a body. Well, gee, Brian, why don't you just go out and say, hey, Google, hey, Alexa, how do I kill my wife, unalive my wife, and how do I dismember her and dump her and nobody finds out? Come on. He's just not the brightest crayon in the box now, is he? A source told CNN that investigators received new information in days prior that made them switch their focus from a missing persons case to one revolving around the suspicion that Ana Walshe may have been unalived. Sadly, I believe that's exactly what happened in this case. Brian Walshe arraigned. So this was yesterday. He went to arraignment. After being arrested on January 8th for misleading police, Brian Walshe was arraigned in Quincy District Court on January 9th. He pleaded not guilty and was held on $500,000 bail. Yet he ain't going nowhere. He's on a $500,000 bail. Prosecutors told a judge that investigators found blood and a bloody, damaged knife in the basement of the Walsh's Cohasset home. They also said that Walshe lied to police about his whereabouts on January 1st and January 2nd, and that he was seen on security footage purchasing $450 of cleaning supplies from Home Depot, including mops, a bucket, and a tarp. First of all, I don't foresee Home Depot as being the first place I go to buy cleaning supplies, but the fact that you go in there and you buy $450 worth of cleaning supplies, if you want to put a red flag on yourself, that's like one way to do it. Between your internet searches, Brian, and you're going to Home Depot to buy $450 of cleaning supplies, dude, you are so screwed. Really. It's like, come on now. You're just not good at this stuff, man. Below is a timeline with more details of the events surrounding the disappearance of Ana Walshe. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I feel like this is an awful, awful situation. And And I feel really horribly for Anna, and most especially for their 3 children, because this is one of those, another, again, an awful case where if he truly did what he's being suspected of doing, these kids have lost their mother, and their father's going to go to jail, to prison for life, if not worse. So, really, the whole worst thing about it is their children. They're going to be the ones that suffer the most. Thursday, April 1st, 2021. Brian Walshe, husband of Ana Walshe, pleads guilty to charges related to an attempt to scam a Los Angeles buyer using fake Andy Warhol paintings. Walshe initially acquired the real paintings from a friend in South Korea and told the friend he could sell them for a good price. The friend agreed, but was not able to contact Walshe afterwards. A person in Los Angeles found the paintings listed on eBay in 2016 and agreed to buy them for $80,000. Once the paintings were transferred, the buyer examined them and found multiple indications that the paintings were not authentic. Walshe is awaiting sentencing. So he sends them the paintings. They said, okay, as long as they're real, they agreed to send him the money. They sent the money. He sent the paintings. And once they found out they weren't real, Brian already spent the $80,000, and he's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You know, oops. He is a scammer to the highest degree. Tuesday, December 27th, 2022. Ana Walshe plans to visit longtime friend Carrie Westbrook to see her new condo near Washington, D.C., the Boston Globe reported. Walshe texts Westbrook to say that she has to work late and will be delayed. After 2 hours, Walshe tells Westbrook that her phone died and she could not use GPS to get directions, so she returned home. Walshe's family has a home in Washington in addition to their Cohasset residence. The 2 friends agree to reschedule their visit to January 5th, 2023. Wednesday, December 28th. Ana Walshe texts her friend Carrie Westbrook and tells her that she got a new SIM card for her phone and that the device was working properly again. Sunday, January 1st, 2023. Walshe is reportedly last seen by a family member around 4 a.m. on New Year's Day. Police say Walshe, who regularly commuted between Massachusetts and Washington, had a flight booked for January 3rd, but told others she had to fly down on January 1st to handle an emergency at a property that she manages. Police were told Walshe had bags with her as she left the house and that her husband was sleeping at the time. Her plan was supposedly to take a rideshare to Logan Airport before flying to Washington. Police confirmed she never boarded a flight. Monday, January 2nd. Ana Walshe's cell phone is in use for the last time. Her phone pinged on January 1st and January 2nd, but went quiet afterward. Prosecutors later say during Brian Walshe's arraignment on January 9th. Wednesday, January 4th. Ana Walshe is reported missing. Officials received simultaneous reports of her disappearance from her employer and from Brian Walshe. Thursday, January 5th, Cohasset police announced that Ana Walshe is missing. Authorities conduct a search of Walshe's home on Chief Justice Cushing's Highway in Cohasset and the surrounding areas. Detectives also investigate Walshe's home in Washington. They do not find any signs of her. Police say Brian Walshe is cooperating with the investigation. Friday, January 6th. Police launch another search from the parking lot of a Stop and Shop near the Cohasset residence. Units from the Massachusetts State Police, trained in search and rescue efforts, comb the area, with assistance from 3 canine teams and the State Police Air Wing. Friday, January 6th, a fire breaks out at a home that Ana Walshe used to own. The property is located at 725 Jerusalem Road in Cohasset. Walshe bought it for $800,000 in 2020 and sold it for $1.385 million in March 2022, the Globe reported. The fire on Jerusalem Road started near damaged piping close to a natural gas fireplace insert. Jake Work, a spokesman for the State Department of Fire Services, told the Globe. Officials say the fire is not suspicious And Cohasset Police Chief William Quigley says it's a very strange coincidence. Yeah, that's true. Anything that happens related to this woman or her husband at this time is very sus. Saturday, January 7th. The search of Walsh's Cohasset home and the surrounding areas launched Friday resumes again. Authorities search until around 4:30 p.m. Again, canine teams, the MSP Air Wing, and other specialized units assist in the search. Police divers search a small stream and a pool with negative results. Police say that the ground search will not resume unless police develop new information so that warrants it. Sunday, January 8th. Investigators return to Walsh's Cohasset home. They begin working at about 9 a.m. State police canine units are once again involved. Police take photographs of a car parked near the home, according to Boston 25. Uniformed officers are seen carrying what appear to be hiking gear as they emerge from a wooded area near the house. A drone hovers over the property Sunday afternoon. An investigator is seen carrying a large plastic container out of the house Sunday evening, according to the Globe. Around 7 p.m., an investigator is seen shining their flashlight at the front of the building, scanning the siding and roof line for about a minute. Sunday, January 8th, police arrest Brian Walshe for misleading a police investigation. Authorities say that as they conducted their investigation, they had probable cause to believe that he misled investigators. He is expected to be arraigned Monday morning in Quincy District Court. WCVB cameras capture police leading Brian Walshe into the Cohasset Police Department in handcuffs. Monday, January 9th. Brian Walshe is arraigned in Quincy District Court. Prosecutors say police found both blood and a bloody damaged knife in the basement of the Walsh's family home in Cohasset. Prosecutors say Walshe misled investigators by saying that on January 1st he went to visit his mother in Swampscott but got lost. Who gets lost visiting their mother unless she just moved? Walshe also allegedly told police that he shopped at a Whole Foods and CVS, but police could not find receipts or surveillance footage that corroborated this. When investigators asked Walshe about his actions on January 2nd, he allegedly told them that he only left the house to take one of his young sons to get ice cream. Instead, prosecutors said he went to a Home Depot in Rockland to purchase the $450 in cleaning supplies, including mops, buckets, tarps, tape, and drop cloths. Again, very unusual. Video from the store shows Walshe wearing a black surgical mask and blue gloves while he paid for the supplies in cash, prosecutors said. Yeah, okay, you're wearing gloves, blue gloves, a COVID mask, and you're paying for $450 of cleaning supplies at Home Depot with cash. That's not suspicious at all, Brian. It's truly not. And while, yes, some people are still wearing the COVID masks a bit on and off when the numbers are higher, or they're not feeling well, or they maybe are or live with someone that's at high risk, you definitely don't see nearly as many folks wearing them these days. And gloves, yeah, I don't see them being worn at all anymore. That's been a while. Yeah, so many suspicious flags are given off. Anna Walshe was not reported missing until January 4th, giving her husband time to clean up to dispose of evidence, Norfolk 1st Assistant District Attorney Lynn M. Beelan said in court. Beelan asked the judge to set Walsh's bail at $500,000. Tracy Miner, Walsh's lawyer, tells the judge that he has been incredibly cooperative and asked that Beelan's bail request be rejected because Walshe has not been charged with unaliving. The judge set bail at $500,000. Brian Walshe is due back in court on February 9th. So yeah, the judge was like, yeah, I don't think so. And see, he's supposed to be wearing an ankle monitor because he's on probation, or he's pending his charges on the art theft and some other pending charges. And he's not supposed to leave the house without permission. So, yeah. So I think there's a lot of stuff, and I'm hoping that there's a tracker on that ankle monitor. And just as I'm entering my editing for this video, I happen to get an alert that we just found out Brian Walsh's house arrest bracelet is not equipped with GPS tracking. And this is per CBS Boston. So that's a very unfortunate thing to find out. Let's just sift through the article real quick here. It says, leading up to his wife's mysterious disappearance, Brian Walsh was supposed to be confined to their Cohasset home. He is among approximately 6,000 people currently wearing location monitoring bracelets in the federal system after he pleaded guilty to charges of selling fake art. You could be on a bracelet and go to church, go to your doctor, you can go to the grocery store. Those are all exemptions, and sometimes you have to call in ahead of time, explained Boston attorney Phil Tracy, who's familiar with home confinement. In some cases, Tracy says home confinement truly means the person can't ever leave home. But in many cases, they're given special permission to leave on a limited basis. Prosecutors say Walsh lied about going to Home Depot, where he allegedly spent the $450 on cleaning supplies. I don't think they had a fear that he was up to nefarious activity, said Tracy. It wouldn't raise that much of a red flag. Court papers outlining the conditions of Walsh's release say, quote, you are restricted to residence at all times except for activities pre-approved by the probation office. A spokesperson with the U.S. Attorney's Office tells WBZ Walsh's bracelet did not use the GPS monitoring that some inmates have. Instead, his used radio frequency that can alert authorities when he left home, without specifying where he went. So that is highly disappointing because now they can't track his complete whereabouts. And again, that's just another sad thing, but at least he's back in jail right now. And hopefully they're going to be able to prove what they need to prove without a GPS tracking on him. Whether or not he had his phone on him is hard to say, but that's definitely a disappointing development. And a lot of us, I know, were hoping that that ankle monitor was going to reveal a lot more about his wherever he went, his adventures on that day that he went to buy all the cleaning supplies and what have you. A source tells CNN that investigators received new information in the days prior that made them switch their focus from a missing persons case to one revolving around the suspicion that Ana Walshe may have been unalived. So basically, at this point, it's looking like Brian is guilty of unaliving his wife. So this is an article from, looks like NBC rather, excuse me. I better get that right. NBC Boston. And this one here discusses his other issues involving money. Yeah. He's never done anything completely violent, but apparently that may have changed. There he is in court Monday. As the search for missing Cohasset, Massachusetts mother Ana Walshe continues, the NBC 10 investigators are learning more about her husband, Brian Walsh, who is accused of misleading authorities as they investigate her disappearance. Court records and conversations with family friends point to a history of money problems and estrangement. Brian Walsh was an only child, but had a fractured relationship with his father after disappearing with a large sum of his money, according to court documents. Following his father's death in 2018, there was a bitter legal battle over who was entitled to inherit the estate. Dr. Thomas Walsh owned an oceanside home in Hull, Massachusetts when he passed away in 2018 while traveling in India. In sworn affidavits, friends and family said it's well known that he was estranged from his son and had taken him out of the will. So, beside the whole issue with the fraud on selling quote unquote fake Andy Warhol paintings, which sounds like that's pretty much he's done that. And from what I understand, he actually even swindled a good friend of his. Well, probably a former friend at this point. And, he also has a history of trying to steal from his family. So he's gone from a swindler and a liar to potentially a violent unaliver. So we shall see if he's done more than this money situation and swindling folks, because that's quite a jump. Let's see what else they're saying here. According to court documents filed in Plymouth Probate and Family Court and family members that spoke with NBC 10 investigators, Brian allegedly took off with hundreds of thousands of dollars of his father's money. And the day he got that check at the closing was the last time his father spoke to him. He just disappeared off of the face of the earth, and his father was in shock, a family friend said. That didn't stop Brian from trying to file legal action to take control of his father's estate after his death, when friends learned the property in Hull had mysteriously gone up for sale. Brian had emptied the house completely of all the goods, expensive Persian carpets, Kandinsky's, and other expensive artifacts, and staged it for sale, the family friend said. During the probate battle, Thomas Walsh's nephew said he'd been named as the executor of the estate, and friends signed affidavits that they'd seen Thomas disinherit his son from the will. Those documents also shed light on Brian's personality. In one affidavit, a longtime friend wrote, I even went on a trip to China with Brian and Tom and my partner at the time. I witnessed firsthand what Brian was capable of. I saw Brian attempt to smuggle out antiquities from China. When Brian was confronted, he picked up a stanchion and literally attempted to unalive 4 or 5 guards that had come to talk to him about his crime. Brian is not only a sociopath, but a very angry and physically violent person. Wow. That's a damning statement right there. Another friend of Thomas told NBC 10 Boston that he'd known Brian since he was a child and described him as a horrible con artist, but said he never saw any hint of losing his temper or violent behavior. I'm hoping by some miracle there's going to be some crazy scheme he had cooked up for monetary gain, that this all adds up, and it's not what the indicators are. It's shocking. Court documents revealed several families described Brian as a sociopath. Records show the nephew prevailed in the probate case and sold the whole property in 2020. Ana Walshe has not been seen since January 1st. The couple's 3 boys are in the custody of the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families. And if anyone with information on Ana Walshe's whereabouts is urged to contact detectives at 781-830-4990. So that's a picture of Ana Walshe. So basically, we've got Brian, who, at the very least, he's a con artist and a liar. And more than one person is describing him as a sociopath. And he's at least had violent tendencies on one occasion, according to a family friend. So, is it possible that he hurt his wife? It's looking like that. But again, that nothing's been confirmed. They haven't found any remains of Anna, but all this evidence is just mounting up against Brian. It seems to be that something happened. Did they have a big argument on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day morning? And he attacked her and then decided to take her out. But the fact that he has internet searches, like they said, how to do all this stuff to a woman's body and dismember, man, talk about premeditation. I mean, he can't claim it was a spur of the moment thing at all. Sounds like he wanted his wife out of the picture in some way, for some reason, and he likely did it. And it's a really sad thing. I think that, like they're saying, I think the police have gone from, they don't think that she's probably alive anymore. They're looking for, sadly, remains. And that's a sad, sad thing for those 3 boys. because they're not going to have a mom anymore, and their dad's going to be in jail. So I'm hoping that the evidence continues to mount up on Brian and they can nail him to the wall if he truly, truly hurt and unalived his wife. It's a sad, sad day when a family member unalives another family member. It's never something. It's hard to comprehend, and we see this stuff all the time in true crime and crime in the but it's never. It just never gets easier to see that, and especially when it involves children. I mean, it's a young mother and with 3 young boys. They're gonna have to grow up without her now. So, all right, guys, I'll keep you updated on this one. Again, they haven't found any remains as of my recording this, but if they do, I will post that update as well on my community tab and or the Facebook group. So if you're not in my Facebook group, please check out the link in the information of the video and feel free to come on over and join us there. All right, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and most of all, stay safe.